5 reasons not to move to Canada in 2024. Did you know that 30% of new immigrants to Canada choose to leave within their first 2 years? Currently, Canada ranks among developed countries with one of the lowest disposable incomes, paired with skyrocketing housing prices, rising living costs, and tax rates that can take up to half your income. With these realities, moving to Canada in 2024 might not be the dream you've been hoping for. Additionally, while Canada is known for its friendly and welcoming image toward immigrants, many newcomers feel disappointed, overwhelmed, and even worse off financially than before they arrived. Yes, the country we envision as the land of opportunity can actually be one of the hardest places to build a comfortable life. So, before packing your bags and making a life-changing decision, let's uncover the truth about life in Canada in 2024. Here are the top 5 reasons to think twice before making the move. Don't miss the last part, where we'll discuss a special case where moving to Canada might be worthwhile, but perhaps not for the reasons you think. Reason 5. The harsh reality of the job market. If you're planning to move to Canada based on stories of a vibrant job market with plenty of opportunities, take a closer look. Although Canada has a high demand for skilled labor, the reality is much more complex. Many immigrants arrive with hopes of landing their dream job, but instead face months, sometimes years, of struggling to find work that matches their qualifications. Studies indicate that up to 40% of immigrants in Canada encounter obstacles in securing jobs that align with their skills and expertise. One major issue is the recognition of qualifications and the demand for Canadian experience. Professionals like doctors and engineers often have to undergo lengthy and costly certification processes to work in their fields. In the meantime, which can stretch into years, many are forced to take jobs far below their qualifications, from driving for Uber to working in basic service sectors just to make ends meet. Competition in Canada's job market is particularly fierce in large cities like Toronto and Vancouver, where most new immigrants congregate. Additionally, networking plays a crucial role in securing employment in Canada. Many positions are filled through connections, which can be a big hurdle for immigrants lacking an established network. There's also a significant income gap between immigrants and native-born Canadians, with immigrants often earning 20–30% less than Canadian workers with similar education and experience. Building a career in Canada is not as easy as it might seem. If you're considering this move, be prepared mentally and financially for a potentially long integration process. Reason 4. Skyrocketing cost of living. One of the biggest challenges for newcomers to Canada in 2025 is the soaring cost of living. Once considered an affordable country, Canada is now one of the most expensive places to live. With a growing housing crisis and rising inflation, living here can quickly eat up your income. In large cities like Toronto and Vancouver, the real estate market is saturated, with the average home price reaching $1.2 million. Even renting is hardly an easy solution. In 2025, renting a one-bedroom apartment in downtown Vancouver has surpassed $2,500 per month, meaning that even with a good job, you may need to spend over half of your income on rent alone. Besides housing, the cost of essentials like food and transportation continues to climb. Food prices have risen by more than 10% over the past year, making basic necessities feel like luxury items. If you're used to a moderate cost of living, the price shock in Canada could be a major hurdle. Transportation is another cost to consider, especially in a vast country like Canada, where personal vehicles are the preferred mode of transportation. While the public healthcare system is free, prescription drugs, dental care, and vision care aren't covered, adding further financial burdens for newcomers. With inflation rising, your income may struggle to keep up with the increasing costs. While the quality of life in Canada can be high, it comes at a price. If you're on a tight budget or expecting a relaxed cost of living, carefully assess your financial readiness before moving. Reason 3. The weather. More than just cold. When people think of Canada, they often imagine freezing winters and snow. But the weather in Canada is more extreme and unpredictable than you might expect. Moving to Canada means adjusting not only to the cold, but to long winters, extended periods of darkness, and sometimes intense summer heat. Winter can last up to 6 months in cities like Winnipeg and Edmonton, where temperatures regularly drop below 30 degrees C, 22 degrees C. This harsh weather can make daily life challenging, affecting mobility, well-being, and mental health. Many newcomers experience seasonal affective disorder, SAD, due to a lack of sunlight during the gloomy winter months. For those coming from warmer climates, Canada's winter can be a major cultural and emotional shock. Spring in Canada can also be chilly and wet, with surprise snowfalls lasting well into April or May. In summer, some areas of Canada, especially central and eastern regions, can experience sweltering temperatures above 35 Celsius, 95 Fahrenheit, with high humidity. Extreme weather events like wildfires in British Columbia and flooding in Ontario are becoming more frequent, adding further challenges for immigrants. In short, Canada's weather is something you need to be well prepared for. If you prefer a mild and stable climate, the seasonal shifts and harsh conditions in Canada may be a difficult adjustment. Reason 2. Taxes. The quiet burden on your wallet. Many people think of Canada as a country with free healthcare and high-quality public services, but few consider the high tax rates that fund these benefits. Canada uses a progressive tax system, meaning higher income earners pay more. With an annual income of around $80,000, you could pay 30% to 35% in taxes, and in some provinces like Quebec, tax rates for high earners can reach up to 50%. In addition to income tax, Canadians also pay sales tax on most goods. In Ontario, the harmonized sales tax, HST, is 13%, while in British Columbia, it's about 12%. This means that on every purchase, from food to clothing to household items, you'll be paying a significant additional tax. For those wanting to own a home, property taxes in major cities like Toronto or Vancouver are also burdensome, with annual taxes amounting to thousands of dollars. Drivers in Canada pay high fuel taxes as well, up to 30 cents per litre in some provinces. Even in Canada's public healthcare system, many services like dental care, prescription drugs, and vision care aren't covered. People often need private insurance or have to pay out of pocket for these services. Are the benefits of high taxes worth the cost? For many, the public healthcare and education systems in Canada bring peace of mind, but for others, the high tax burden to maintain these services may be a tough pill to swallow. Before moving to Canada, carefully evaluate your financial comfort with this tax system. Reason 1. Social isolation and cultural adjustment. When moving to a new country, especially one as vast and culturally diverse as Canada, social isolation and cultural adaptation are challenges that shouldn't be overlooked. While Canada is known for being friendly and multicultural, integrating and building a social network can be harder than expected. First is the culture shock. Canada has unique social norms and cultural values, which may be very different from what you're used to. Canadians are known for their politeness, but that doesn't mean integration will happen naturally or quickly. Building meaningful and reliable relationships often takes time, especially in large cities where people tend to have established social circles and busy schedules. For many immigrants, loneliness is a real issue, particularly when separated from family and close friends. Making new friends and finding a sense of belonging can take years and require considerable effort. Language barriers are also a significant factor. Although Canada is a bilingual country with English and French, most areas are English-speaking, which can pose challenges for non-native speakers. Even if you're fluent in English, subtle cultural differences in communication can sometimes lead to misunderstandings. Canada's vast size also means not everyone lives in major urban centres like Toronto, Vancouver, or Montreal. Many immigrants choose to live in smaller towns for affordability, but this often limits social activities and access to multicultural communities. If you live in a remote area or a small town, feelings of isolation can become even more pronounced. While Canada is regarded as an immigrant-friendly country, many newcomers still struggle to fully integrate into Canadian society. You may live there for years, but still feel like an outsider. Cultural missteps or lifestyle differences can complicate the integration process. Canada's long and harsh winter, as previously discussed, also contributes to isolation. During the cold and dark months, people tend to stay indoors, limiting social interaction. This can create a vicious cycle for those already feeling lonely, making social integration even harder. Moving to Canada offers many opportunities, but comes with substantial challenges. From extreme weather, competitive job markets, high living costs, heavy taxes, and social isolation, relocating to Canada is not always the ideal or straightforward choice. Before making this life-changing decision, thoroughly consider if you're prepared to face the difficulties and understand all aspects of life in Canada. Top of form, bottom of form.